I'm here to serve. I'm a public servant. That's my calling.
I'm going to be the first mayor who believes in community organizing.
We need a mayor that hits the ground running. We already behind.
Welcome to Off 63rd with Garrard McClendon. We're less than 2 weeks away from the first election to fill a vacant mayor's seat in more than 20 years. Is the mayor's race a popularity contest or the flexing of power? Tonight we hear from the candidates and the word on the street. This is Off 63rd, Chicago, from the beach to the burg. You're watching Off 63rd, but if you're about to get in your car, join us on 89.3 FM WKKC. Candidate campaigns are in high gear, and one issue that must be addressed, the city's surveillance cameras. We started the week hearing from the American Civil Liberties Union, who have asked for a moratorium on the installation of more surveillance cameras around the city. Is Big Brother watching you? We didn't have to go far to get strong opinions, and we started the day in Inglewood at Powell's Barbershop off 63rd in May. Let's listen.
Way too many cameras, and I don't think it's that necessary, you know. Me personally, I don't pay attention to them, and I don't think they really make a difference.
I don't think it's enough cameras. I would say keep the cameras.
Why?
I mean, as long as you know it's an eye on you, you're less likely to commit a crime.
Do you know that we went in 5 years from red light cameras at 2 intersections to 190 intersections, and that last year the revenue from red light cameras increased from 44 million to about 65 million? And so therefore, red light cameras that originally were intended to protect pedestrians and to reduce the number of accidents at intersections now has become a revenue raiser for the city of Chicago. And in some intersections, they even cause more accidents, rear-end accidents, than they did before the cameras were installed. So all of this combined has people in a kind of a sour mood, and so it is important that they not go by the fancy commercials that they see on TV that have been paid for multi-millionaires and billionaires from Hollywood and Wall Street who are attempting to buy influence in the city of Chicago.
I've never used public service for personal or private gain. You know, the other candidates, many of them have leveraged being in public service to make private fortunes. And I just think that that does not respect the public trust. I think that the person who's in government has a duty to work for the people and not just for their own private personal gain.
Personal gain? Interesting, because often the public takes a back seat to public officials. You'll hear more from Valle and Braun in a moment. Some candidates clearly want to talk to voters, but others seem to be hiding. But here's what can't be hidden: Chicago's budget deficit, educational disparities, public safety, jobs, and a host of perennial issues that must be tackled in this wonderful city of ours. Since the debut of Off 63rd, we've hit the streets asking voters, our guests and viewers, to give their opinions on what needs the most attention. Check it out.
This next mayor is going to have to deal with the situation of the lack of jobs. You have people around here saying, I want to work. You have very educated people that's got degrees on the wall, and they're still, you know, shopping at the dollar store.
That's a good point. Dan, what do you think? Biggest issue in Chicago?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest long-term issue is education. You have to get K through 12 right, or you're not going to produce generations of people that are innovators, that are self-sustaining, that have the skills necessary to compete in the global economy. But the biggest short-term issue is the budget. This is a city that is on the precipice of bankruptcy. And so the next mayor's real challenge is, will he take on he or she take on the public sector unions? Will he restructure and rethink city government? Because you cannot afford a 36,000 employee, $6 billion government anymore. And like the United States, like the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago is spending more than it takes in. Eventually, that's not sustainable.
Here's what some of your neighbors had to say concerning issues for the new mayor. Let's listen.
The most pressing issue is probably jobs. You know, so I mean, it's real hard times out here for people.
Well, the economy and local jobs.
Getting jobs, man, getting programs and things like that, man, because we really need that, especially in this community right here, man. Get the young guys and girls something to do around here, man.
Oh, God, getting out of this deficit we're in, creating jobs.
Wait, stop right there. The economy, jobs, and taxes, it's about getting the money right in your own account and in City Hall's accounts. Let's start with jobs. The 4 candidates we've talked with have a plan for getting more jobs and money into the city.
We have lost many of our largest private sector companies here in Chicago. Many of them have moved, they're fungible, can be anywhere in the world. And so what I think we have to do to build the next economy out of the ashes of this recession is to grow new businesses, to grow and to nurture innovation here. Just as the president talked about in his address, his State of the Union address. Innovation will be the key to our being able to develop industries and markets here in Chicago that will give us the ability to export and sell products and services to the rest of the world. That will grow our economy. That will improve the quality of life for Chicagoans. We should not be in a situation where the top employers are government. The top employers should be in the private sector.
We need to buy time. We need to be able to get through these next couple of years and be able to recover the money we used to have, that revenue that we used to have from sales tax, from consumer spending, from real estate transfers and income tax. As the unemployment rate goes down, we are able to generate more income. And so it is important for us to piece together a budget for fiscal year 2012. And we're going to have to look at TIF surplus dollars. We're going to have to look at refinancing the debt. We're going to have to look at cutting the budget, of course. We've got to cut, especially at the middle management level, personnel. We've got to reduce the head count. We've got to reduce non-personnel costs. There have to be fewer city cars out there. We don't need all those cars that bureaucrats drive around. We're going to have to do all those things in order to get through fiscal year 2012.
Dr. Van Pelt Watkins, we are in debt. We owe, and too bad the Olympics didn't come. We probably could have eliminated some of that. We pretty much gave away the parking meters.
Yes.
What do you do for job creation in Chicago?
Well,
and I know you mentioned transportation, but there's other situations here.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my plans is to waive the fees for new entrepreneurs for 2 years, the first 2 years. No fees at all, and also some support, because we have to hire ourselves. We can't look to the government to come and take care of us. We have to stir up the spirit of America, and that is reaching out and providing for ourselves, creating jobs for ourselves and other people, waiving those fees for 2 years, and after 2 years, if the business root, then they owe the fees.
We'll identify 2,000 Chicago area businesses that are industry and geographic diverse and give each of those businesses a $1 million jobs creation grant so that they can create 50 jobs.
I tell you what, Doc, I tell you what, let's just bring casinos to the city on big shoulders. Hey, that's job creation, and you can take all the money from the Indiana casinos. Come on, Doc.
That's not economic development.
So you're anti, it may not be economic development, but it's jobs.
I'm for new money coming in. That doesn't bring new money to Chicago.
Casinos at all in Chicago.
Dan, what do you think, man?
Well, I think gambling expansion is used by a crutch for politicians that don't want to make tough decisions.
That's right.
But if you are going to expand gambling, then Chicago is the obvious place to do it, because you compete with Indiana, you get out-of-town dollars.
Absolutely.
But that's not good public policy.
At all.
But if it's going to happen, then
this is a city that could definitely handle it. There's certain cities in this country that should never have even a poker machine in it. Detroit is a wonderful example of that. But this city has the type of shoulders that could handle that and would probably benefit very much from gambling.
The management of that would have to be...
Well, management of it is something totally different.
The only casino that I would be in support of is one at O'Hare Airport behind the security gate, so only travelers could access
slot machines there.
Yeah,
wow.
I wouldn't I wouldn't make it available to the
where
people.
does the $200 million you want to give these businesses?
$2 billion.
Okay, well, where's that come from?
We have a capital improvement program, $8.5 billion that was approved by our city council, but it has nothing to do. No, that's not the state's capital improvement program.
City.
That's not the state's capital budget program. Different program.